this message is just for you. You are good enough. This is the episode for you. It is not where you live that counts, language learners. If you are looking around at your very familiar four walls and thinking that this is not the exotic, exciting place where language learning happens, then I made this video just for you. So we hear all the time that the best way to learn a language is through immersion. And for most of us, we hold this image in our minds that immersion means moving to the country and living there for a sustained period of time, working there, socializing there. And so when that isn't possible for us, it can be easy to tell ourselves that we are going to be at a huge disadvantage. But what if that isn't true? The thing is, we all know of people who moved to a country 10, 20 years ago and they still don't speak the language. And it's not that the immersion didn't work for them. It's that they were living in the country and they still weren't immersed. But that also means the opposite is true. You can be immersed while not living anywhere near a single native speaker of the language you're learning. For the vast majority of major world languages, immersion is not geographical, especially now. Because all immersion means is being surrounded by the language. And nowadays, if you have an internet connection, all of those things are possible from your living room. If you've got an internet connection, you can access so much media, radio, podcasts, books, forums, blogs, magazines, and you can find a network of people to talk to every single day in that language. And even if the time zone of your two countries aren't particularly compatible, it's still not game over. There are always people working night shifts or who study weird hours. You can still reach out and find a whole network of people who speak the language that you want to speak, but who also live outside of their home country. People are on social apps 24 hours a day. And now there are so many asynchronous methods of communication that you can leave each other audio and video messages, leave comments on forums or on social media, and it won't matter that by the time you get back from work, all the people you're trying to reach have gone to bed. The reality of the situation is, in language learning, you will only learn the kinds of language that you study and practice. It doesn't need to be sitting at a desk, it doesn't need to be textbook-led study. But if you live in the country and you only have interactions in the language at the level of talking to shopkeepers or saying good morning to the bus driver, you will not magically absorb any ability to talk about your work, the news, or your hopes and dreams. So whether you live in the country or not, you still have to engineer your language learning path and create the space for yourself to actually have the conversations that you want to have. And whether you live in the country or not, you'll still need to go out and seek the content that you need to cover as many language bases as you can. Living in the country will force certain interactions that maybe you wouldn't have otherwise. Things like the emergency dentist appointment, the school parents' evenings. But for some people, the importance and the urgency to be understood in moments like that means that that's actually the time that they revert to translation apps or getting someone to translate for them. So living in the country will create more opportunities, but on its own, it won't create a safe space or necessarily a fair training ground. So the important question is not the country you live in, but it's the people that you talk to. It's the conversations that you're having, and it's what you're reading and listening to. And wherever you live, you will be able to make this work for you. Remember, every tiny thing you achieve today counts, and every word matters. Good luck, and I will see you tomorrow.